What's going on, guys? Seth and Chevy here. We just watched episode 3 of season 2 of Jujutsu Kaisen. We're going to be going full spoilers ahead, so hopefully you've watched this episode. Otherwise, I don't know why you're watching this review. But real quick recap. A lot of little details here, but I'll go through the basics. Basically, Kuroi, the maid from the last episode, was kidnapped when she wanted Geto to run ahead to help Manai or Rico. Let's call her Rico. She was taken at that point when he ran ahead to get her, and they got the pictures of her on the phone, and they decided they're going to go get her as well, but Rico wants to go with. They make a deal on that basically, but we kind of get off-screened on this process. They do get her back pretty quickly in a weird transition right before the intro of the show, where we have this conversation happen, and then all of a sudden they're on the beach. After the intro, though, we find out that they went in, kicked the door in, easily got her out of there, and were able to save her. So now they are kind of doing some recreational outdoor stuff while they can, while they're in the location. They're at the beach. They go kayaking, all sorts of stuff, and they are planning on going back to Jujutsu High to complete the process for Rico to assimilate with Tengen Sama. They end up heading back, and while having a conversation, being within the safety of Jujutsu High, I don't remember his name, but that assassin guy drives a blade right through Gojo's chest, seemingly damaging him pretty bad, but not quite the case. But he did exactly what he said he was going to do. He was going to let Gojo kind of wear himself out. He didn't sleep before, which was mentioned by Geto at one point, and just kind of being distracted on all the things that have been going on, let his guard down for a split second, and this dude took advantage of that. Gojo actually was able to not get hit in any vital spots, though. He kind of equated it to putting like a pin through like a knitted, what did he say, like blanket or whatever?
To a quilt or whatever.
Quilt, yeah, something like that. And so nothing vital was hit. He's fine. He tells Geto and Kuroi to take Rico and get her to where she needs to go, while he takes on this guy who, as he tries to assess him, finds out he doesn't necessarily have cursed energy himself, but he seems to be borrowing it from the thing on his shoulder. Did I get that right?
That's the only cursed energy he has. I don't know about the borrowing part. I think he was trying to figure out how to track him, though.
Well, because at one point he says he can't track him, and he's trying to track the thing on his shoulder.
Yeah, so he remembers that he has it on his shoulder and just opts to track it instead to locate him.
Yeah, because I was under the impression that this dude was not being detected because he himself didn't have cursed energy. He was using or borrowing the energy to have the speed and move on him, so he can't be read. In the moment, though, where he's trying to figure that out and try to read him, he does. He notices that his speed's crazy. He's jumping all over the place. He's fighting with them a little bit, and then to try and help himself, Gojo, help himself with this fight, he Katamari Damacy's the fucking buildings around him in a huge ball, and essentially just makes a big open area. A bunch of bugs are sent at him to essentially distract him and kind of give him a smoke screen so this guy can try to get another attack in. For a moment, Gojo thinks that he might be after Rico and them. He goes to look one direction. In that moment when he does that, this dude's right behind him in a millisecond, and is just enough time to put his dagger right through his throat, drag it down his body, seemingly killing Gojo, which, we'll see where that goes, considering we've seen the original season of the show. We'll see how he comes back from that. But he is under the impression that he has killed Gojo, and in a very bloody, wild way. That was actually kind of refreshing for me to see Gojo take damage, honestly. I like Gojo, but he's a little OP, so it's kind of cool to see somebody be able to touch him, let alone possibly kill him in some way. So Kuroi, Rico, and Geto go down an elevator to try to complete the process of assimilation. Essentially, Tengen will protect Rico until the assimilation happens. That's the plan. But on the way there, Kuroi turns around. They exchange a hug before she goes off, and Rico and Geto head to this center area where Tengen-sama is apparently going to assimilate with her, and they talk for a second about how she has a choice in this. She can either complete the process or, how did he say it? Just stay? Just hang out?
Yeah, he brings up to her that him and Gojo had already discussed that if she decided she did not want to go through with it, that they would protect her regardless of what their superiors said, and would protect her.
Yeah, and he kind of implied too that their teacher, the musclehead guy, kind of had explained how things work, but he said he kind of, I forgot his word.
The way he worded it kind of implied
was like an indirect implication, yeah.
That you'll have to live with that, and maybe you might not want that. So
yeah. So after that conversation, she chooses to essentially stay because she wants to stay and be with everybody and continue to have fun, all that stuff. And in that moment, she is shot in the head and seemingly dead instantly from our would-be assassin who killed Gojo, who seems to have some kind of connection or knows Geto in some way. When he talks to him, there seems to be some kind of familiarity there. But when Geto asks him what is he doing here, he said he has killed Gojo. And in that moment, Geto starts summoning some of his curses in a way that seems like he's going to attempt to kill this guy. So kind of left in the dark there on really what's going on between them. But obviously, for what it's worth, it seems like if he doesn't know anything about this, I don't think he was expecting him to be able to kill Gojo. So that is a surprise to him, it seems. So yeah, hopefully we get to see that in the next episode, whatever happens there, and we don't get off-screened on that. But pretty eventful episode that started out kind of a little simple and turned into something pretty crazy. What do we think of it?
I mean, my overall thought, not even starting at the beginning, just like as an encompassing thought of the episode, is I'm impressed how many genres they smashed into one episode. It's kind of insane. They, like you said, the beginning was a little weird, just because of the weird cuts and stuff like that. But really, at the end of the day, that moment didn't matter.
Doesn't matter that much,
it was just, to use an MMO term, the trash mobs, anyways. But so we go from that to the beach episode and some slice of life fun, into the combat portion, into the more darker tone stuff. So it was a roller coaster. It was a blast. I loved this episode. They really kind of hit all the bases, though. I was a little weirded out by how often we got close-ups to people's feet. I'm not the biggest fan. So, but yeah, the whole like beach scene, and I kind of was getting the feeling anyways when they especially when like they're playing around or whatever, and they're talking about going back to the high school, and Gojo's like, we can stay another day. I was like, okay, yeah, they're letting her be a kid and live her life, as much as she can in these moments. And then you go back, and I love how the moment Gojo, his eyes go from glowing to just back to normal because he shuts his power off. Basically, that guy was just instantly on top of him. So
yeah, we saw it twice. We saw when he first hit him, and then the second time when Gojo even thought for a second and looked away.
Yeah,
he was behind him already.
Yeah,
so the dude's a fucking ninja.
Yeah. Also, Gojo had implied that, or they had implied that they knew each other, but Gojo, in typical him fashion, just doesn't remember the dude.
Yeah, there was a flashback where Gojo was a kid, and this guy was like observing him, but he got spotted by him, which he said
unusual.
was weird because people typically don't notice him when he's doing his weird reconnaissance shit.
Yeah, so I also agree that it was nice to first off, the fight was awesome. Like they had some really cool mixes of like new school and old school animation in there, and I really appreciated it.
The jumping around teleporting thing reminded me of old school
And going
anime
through
where
buildings and
people are
stuff like
just
that.
where people are just teleporting was like,
Yeah.
yeah, I get he's fast, but when he's flying through the building, it looked great. And then when
Still had that
Gojo,
old school touch though of like the details of the character kind of like blurring from time to time as
yeah,
he's hitting walls.
well, and there's a really interesting thing I remember seeing in the first season too, where like the animation isn't consistent in the sense of like the frames are, but like the proportions are stretching and stuff, which gives it a sense of like velocity, which I think is a lot of fun in the way they do that. So yeah, I liked that.
Yeah, but then it switches to when he uses owl or blue, and super new school at that point. Everything's just like smoothly animated, getting sucked into these orbs. Things are getting torn apart, and it looked very crisp. So
Yeah.
it was a huge treat. I like the mix of styles, and the whole scene was just really well done. I also like the creative idea that like this guy knows that Gojo can probably detect the spirits on his shoulder, and so he just uses a bunch of like lowest level curses and just scatters them everywhere to screw up his senses. So
Yeah.
really cool scene. A lot of good thought put into it and stuff like that too.
I just think it's neat that the dude's not some kind of crazy high end, super powerful like sorcerer type dude to take on. Like you don't need like another Gojo to fight Gojo. You got this dude who's just methodical and is basically relying on throwing off Gojo's senses, because it's a huge part of his ability is just being able to read people and take them out.
Tired.
Make sure he's tired, and then just strike in the right spots. This guy's like not going toe to toe with him nonstop, because even at the point where he went to stab him the second time, he went through the barrier. So like he's got all these protections around him already. This guy knows of them, and
he had used a special weapon to get through the barrier too. So he had definitely he kind of like Batmaned it, where it's just like so many like just all the right tools and make sure like
in the right time.
Yeah,
like it has to work now.
No, it was awesome.
Yeah,
and then
cool the way they did it.
Going down and getting some more moments of her trying to keep herself composed, because she's always had to do this assimilation thing, but then like having the moment of like farewell with the maid whose name I can't remember.
Kuroi.
Yeah. And then the talk even with Geto, with him basically like revealing like, yeah, you don't have to do this. Like, we're not just yes men. If you want to leave, we'll leave. So that was really cool. And then she got shot, and I was really honestly like, usually death flags are pretty easy to tell in anime. They kind of threw me off on this one. I probably was just a little too into the moment, but she got shot. I was like, holy shit, okay, we're doing this. So.
See, I was incorrect, but not that she was going to die. I thought she was going to get killed down there, but I thought Geto was going to do it.
Yeah. Well, and I think that probably would have been a little less surprising, though I wasn't thinking about it really. Yeah.
Well, no, this guy's in pursuit. It's not. It makes sense he would do it, but like this whole time, I'm like, I already know Geto turns into a villain. So like, when are we going to see that transition?
Yeah, where's the catalyst?
And what kind of background plan do I not know about that they're going to reveal? It didn't go that way. There's still time for something to unravel there, but I was expecting him to betray everyone and kill her down there, because he was, just one-on-one. I'm like, that's convenient, but it didn't go that way. But I was expecting her to die, especially with the music and stuff like that. Not in that moment, but I was just expecting it to happen. But the way they did it was really well done.
Yeah, and I was
It's like very sudden.
Yeah, I was like, oh shit, okay, we're doing this, and then the dude comes out. And as he's been this whole arc, was just really cocky and to the point, about what he did, and it was really neat to see Geto go from like, being surprised, obviously, because someone just got shot in front of him that he wasn't expecting to see, down there because he's fighting Gojo, and then from him mentioning that he even could have killed Gojo, he just like a light bulb went off, and he just instantly was like, I'm gonna kill you.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
which was cool to see.
Yeah, I don't think he was expecting anyone to be able to take out Gojo.
Well, even when we see in the movie, like when they're at odds with each other, they still have that like friendship that's still kind of connecting them, and they're obviously like actually like close friends at this point in time. So, yeah, just seeing him basically, he's always calm and composed, and he was pissed. So,
They're Magneto and Xavier.
yeah, exactly. So, yeah, awesome. I hate the cliffhanger, but I usually do when it comes to anime. Can't wait for next episode. So,
The episode felt like packed, so it ended where it needed to end. Hopefully, the next episode has something gratifying to see in terms of Geto and this guy. I'm also curious how familiar he sounded when he's talking to him. So we'll see where that goes. But yeah, I definitely want to see what happens there because it was interesting. It did seem genuine that Geto was not expecting this guy to catch up with them, and so he's caught off guard. Yeah. I also think it's interesting too. This dude prepared and had all this stuff ready to fight Gojo, but then just shot the chick because like he doesn't need to like in that moment he didn't need to do anything to kill her. He just shot her. So.
I do want to before I pass it. The one thing I did want to add is I needed Gojo to have a weakness though because it was like big time Superman syndrome with that guy, which is fun, but it's hard to like be worried. And now that we see he can be hurt. Yeah, you can be concerned with him going forward. So that was needed.
Though this is, however he survives this, an early lesson for him on mistakes made.
Yeah, for sure. Because
the more modern Gojo we've seen in season 1 is probably a lot more powerful and learned not to let somebody get you opened up so they can stab you in the throat. Yeah. But we'll see how they handle that because I don't know how he comes back or how he survived that. So
yeah, he got sliced up and then like that one
stabbed in the throat and dragged down his body,
and then like 3 or 4 stabs in the leg. Like it was like, what the hell, dude?
Well, at first I'm like, oh, that makes sense. You're trying to like debilitate him so he can't move very well. But then like you're sliced through his whole body. So I'm like, I feel like that would do enough.
Getting all the hits he can in.
Yeah, yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, it was a good episode. Definitely the best episode so far. The first 2 episodes, especially the first episode, there's a lot of like past world building. They had to kind of throw us real quick on the situation happening, and even in that episode, I was like, "Wait, what's going on?" Second episode wasn't so bad, but still kind of carrying over from that, finding out what's going on with this girl. People are gonna go after her still. What the plan is with getting Gojo out of the way, which seems to be a common theme in both seasons. But this episode, we got the emotional investment early on in the episode, and then the stakes, and then pretty much the weight of that this dude's actually making his way through and actually shooting this girl. Like, unless somehow she's fine, which I don't think she is, he got her. So, and his plan worked. So, which I really like because the whole time I'm like, this guy seems really like, just like, yeah, I'm going to do this. Like, this is the plan. This is what we're going to do. And it seems like he did it. And that's actually pretty cool to have seen because kind of like what you were saying with the Superman thing, it's always fun to watch Gojo annihilate people. But at the same time, like, I gotta know that something bad can even happen, that he won't just always be there. Like Gojo ex machina.
Yeah.
But
can't be Saitama. So
yeah. Yeah, because at least that show's written around that concept for a lot of reasons, but like humor and
definitely
stuff like that. So yeah, there's a fun element to it because you're not depending on like hoping for stakes there. It's just like, oh, that's funny, they wrote for this. But yeah, Gojo's just like all powerful, and so yeah, when he gets involved, it's fun for him to come save the day, but not all the time. So yeah, this episode was cool in that regard. Great animation, of course. A lot of great face animation in this one with the eyes.
Very Mappa.
Yeah. Some very cinematic eye shots that I thought looked fantastic. Very cinematic and movie. Well, that's all I'm just repeating myself at this point, but it's just very movie-like. I really liked it. The fight scene, the animation was really well done. A little simple in what was happening there, but that's not really the point. It's mostly this dude's plan and how he's assassinating Gojo, which I thought was kind of cool. He did feel like a dude with a plan who was sticking to it, and it worked out. So that was a lot of fun to watch. But also just seeing the effects and the magic that Gojo is using was really cool as well. Especially the ball animation and when the guy went flying through the building. That was pretty cool. I liked the end point and the way that they killed off Rico, because I liked that she was offered a choice. Feel even worse when she decided that she wants to stay. She doesn't want to assimilate and do the whole thing. And that she had full support to do that. And then she just gets killed off. It's like, oh, okay. That's cool. And yeah, really curious to see what happens. I wonder what happened with Kuroi.
Yeah.
Because she stayed behind, and she's not anywhere near as powerful as Gojo, so that guy could have easily killed her, or she survived somewhere or something. I don't know. But I'm really curious to see what Geto does, because it was a great way to do a cliffhanger. As much as I hate cliffhangers, it built the hype at that very end point that I really want to see what happens in the next episode. I'm really curious to see what they do with Gojo, because that's just not a normal thing we see. So,
and we know he lives. So
yeah, unless like the Gojo in the future is a different Gojo or something, but I doubt that. It's just gonna be interesting to see how they handle it. Somebody uses some kind of curse magic and fucking resurrects him or something. I don't know. And I really want to see what happens to this dude, because I don't think we saw him in the first season. I'm pretty sure this guy's probably going to get killed. The assassin guy.
Or he's going to show up in the next arc.
True. He could come back. I mean, this guy was around Gojo when he was a kid, so
yeah,
he's been hanging around for a while.
And I know there's this is a short bit of the season, and then the rest of the season is like back to present day. So.
Which this episode feels very pivotal, because when I hear this 5 episodes, I was like, well, something needs to happen. We're already 2 episodes into this, and like we got the general gist of the story, but like, where's it going? Well, it went somewhere. So now we got 2 episodes to figure out what we're doing with that. And so is exactly what needed to happen in terms of getting a story rolling to a point where it can conclude. So yeah, definitely invested in what's going on here. And yeah, overall, I really like the episode. Definitely the best one so far. And I want to watch the next one. Anything else?
Yeah, the aquarium scene with the piano is fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really well done.
Bias, obviously, I'm sure, as many people are, because there's just beautiful piano being played, but it was well done.
And the animation was fantastic too, so everything just kind of worked together really well. Yeah, this episode really, in multiple scenes, tried to invest us emotionally with the characters as quick as it could in one episode. The first 2 episodes, of course, was working towards that as well, but this episode was really leaning into it, and for good reason, because they took her out. So
yeah,
they had minimal time to go, okay, we need you to care about her because we need the scene to be effective, and I thought it was. So yeah. Anything else? Let us know in the comments what you guys think of episode 3 of season 2 of Jujutsu Kaisen. What were the big highlights for you? Were there any huge surprises, or do you expect everything that happened here where you think things are going? If you are a manga reader of Jujutsu Kaisen, please no spoilers. We have not read it. We want to go in as blind as possible. But if you're speculating like we are, let's talk about in the comments. And how do you feel about how they handled the Gojo scene? What do you think is going to happen to him? What do you think is going to happen in the next episode with Geto and this dude? What do you think about how they handled shooting Rico in the head? And what do you think Kuroi's up to? Let me know everything you think about in the comments below when it comes to this episode. But I've been Seth, this has been Chevy. Stay tuned. We will have another review out late like this one, because we will be going on a trip here soon. We'll be gone when this comes up. Maybe we can watch it on the go and then do a mobile review. It'd probably be easy to do, since these are like low effort we talk. So we'll figure it out. But stay tuned. The review will come out hopefully close to when it airs. So and yeah, we'll talk about what happens then when it happens. But yeah, I've been Seth, this has been Chevy, and we'll talk to you guys later.